Welcome to Adrenalin Exotics. Here at Adrenalin Exotics, we are located in Gas Alley in Red Deer, Alberta, and we are the only indoor exotic car showroom in Central Alberta. A little while ago on my personal YouTube channel, I did a bit of a video highlighting some of the awesome inventory we got, and I figured what better way to reintroduce ourselves as a company than show you a little bit of what's in store. Starting here at the front of the showroom, we've got a bit of a diverse mix of everything. We have a few SUVs out front because it is wintertime. Thing number one being our 2020 Jaguar F-Pace SVR. This thing is priced at around $48,000 Canadian. This thing has a 5-liter supercharged V8. These are absolutely rapid. This specific car has a beautiful red interior, lots to offer, and it's at a pretty fantastic price point as an entry level to kind of the super SUV segment. Moving one step over to the right here, we've got a 2020 Maserati Levante GTS. Very, very similar recipe, twin turbo V8 instead of supercharged V8, but also super, super luxurious, super, super fast, and both of them are all-wheel drive. And while we're at it, the third one to add to the mix is the car right here. This is our 2019 GLC 63s. This car has about 50,000 kilometers and is priced at around 72 grand, give or take. All three of these are fantastic. Boosted V8, winterable, all yearable options, all of them very, very fast, all of them very, very comfortable, and all of them having very, very performance oriented, but yet super comfortable interiors, which is pretty cool. Especially this is a little bit more rare as well because it's the coupe, so it's got the slant back style instead of the traditional SUV. There's not as many of them around like that, and it is a bit more desirable. Moving along, we've got some of the summer car stuff kind of along the back here. We've got our 2016 McLaren 570S. It's in a beautiful, beautiful silver color. It's got a bit of a gold flake to the paint, which is absolutely fantastic. This specific car, of course, is powered by the twin turbo V8 mounted in the rear. It's got a lot going on. This specific car has a ton of carbon. The only carbon option that it doesn't really have is the roof. It's got the carbon mirror caps, the carbon fiber inlaid in the doors, the intake scoops, the lip, the diffuser, and a very, very beautiful red and black Alcantara and leather interior. Moving one step down, we've got our 2017 LP 580-2 Huracan. Of course, this is a great contender to go against this. This is at about 180. This is at about 240. It's got around 49,000 kilometers on it, but black on black on black on black, rear-wheel drive Huracan. It's in fantastic shape. These are a ton of fun to drive. The Huracan specifically go so far, and mileage doesn't really affect them much. Heard stories of guys with these cars in the 200,000 or 300,000 kilometer range because at its base, it still has a ton of Audi DNA, which means they're super reliable, super usable, and fantastic kind of wherever you live and however you're using it. If we keep going down, this is an incredibly special car. This is our 2018 Aston Martin DB11. This thing's got a twin turbo V12 under the hood, and it's only got 900 kilometers on it. It's a super cool spec car. It's a very, very beautiful car. You get inside and it still smells brand freaking new. This is priced at around 220 Canadian with 900 kilometers on the clock. Pretty hard to find anything comparable. There isn't really anything comparable. A couple have transacted on some of the auction sites that are low mileage, but nothing that is still under 1,000 kilometers. And that makes this car very special. Talking about special cars, moving up, we've also got our 2017 Viper ACR-Extreme. This is a very, very special car. This is a new arrival that we haven't put a price on just yet, but it's got 7,000 kilometers on the clock, and this truly is a unicorn of a car. Beautiful black and red spec. It's very, very desirable. And being an ACR Extreme, this has a lot to offer and is kind of the ultimate of what a Viper could be. It's the final year, the most track-oriented package. These things are ludicrous as is, it being that they're 8.4 liter naturally aspirated V10s mounted in the front and mated up with a 6-speed manual gearbox. That's a recipe you just don't see anymore. And more than likely, this is kind of the last of its breed, the way the market segment is going. And of course, being that it's the last year, the most special version, these will only go up in value. They already have over the last few years, but they will only continue to do so. Moving onwards, we've got a very, very special car on the bottom here. This is an E63 AMG wagon. There is lots of E63s around, but E63 wagons are incredibly rare and hard to come by, especially one like this. It's got the AMG carbon bucket seats. It's got all the exterior carbon. You can see kind of the lip, the grille, a lot of the details on that side of things. And it does also have the carbon ceramic brakes, which is a very expensive and very, very fun option. Above that, we've got our 2020 V10 R8. And this car is very, very cool. It's very similar to the Huracan that we just looked at. They are based on the same chassis. They have the same DNA. But this is kind of like a Lambo in a tuxedo. It's a little bit more classy, a little bit more subtle, but it has all the same performance and even a bit more comfort. This specific car is priced at 215 Canadian. It's got about 18,000 kilometers on the clock, and it's very, very highly spec'd. It's got the diamond stitch interior, carbon fiber absolutely everywhere, carbon ceramic brakes. Pretty much everything available as a highly spec'd option is equipped on this car, which is quite cool. Moving along down to the end, we've got one of our Nissan GTRs here on the bottom. This is a 2012 Black Edition car, and it's actually black underneath of this matte gray wrap. Pretty cool. It's got a ton of modifications. A lot of very expensive parts have been put into this car. So you can see the wheels that have some custom powder coating on them. See the wing and back that's also been powder coated, and a couple things like that. Full body kit, including the front bumper, hood, and a few other goodies. It's basically full bolt-on. It doesn't have upgraded turbos, but everything up to upgraded turbos have been installed on this car. Blow-off valves, tuning, intake, downpipes, full exhaust. It's got a full custom stereo setup along with a couple other changes to the interior, like a radar detection system, lots and lots of goodies on this car, and super low mileage. For a 2012 car, having 37,000 kilometers on it, priced at around 100 grand, is a very, very good deal. We got another super special car up top here as well. This is kind of the twin or the other side of the coin to our 2017 ACR, because the ACR is what it looks like when Dodge goes, holy crap, we're gonna build the fastest car on track possible. This is what it looks like instead of focusing on turns, which is what the ACR is when they focus on going fast in a straight line. This is a 2018 Dodge Demon. It's got about 12,000 kilometers on the clock. It's priced at about $150,000. And this car, when it came out in 2018, broke all sorts of records. It was the first car to do a wheelie at the drag strip, the largest functional hood scoop of any car, the first car from production to use AC Freon to cool the charged air going into the engine, yada, yada, yada. This thing is just wild. Very, very crazy. And we do actually have the Demon crate for it as well, which was a $1 option that Dodge used as a bit of a loophole because they can't sell performance parts on a stock car. So instead, you get to buy your performance parts with the stock car for a single $1. Moving onwards to the middle, this is a new arrival, and this thing is an absolute sweetheart of a car. These things are fantastic to drive. It's kind of like if you wanted a Miata or something akin to that. Those are very famous cars for being lightweight, performance-oriented drivers' cars that don't have a ton of power, but they are a ton of fun. This is what that looks like as you start in the exotic world. This is a 2014 Cayman S. This specific car has around 118,000 kilometers on it, and it does not show a bit of it. It is in absolutely beautiful shape. It's priced at just under $57,000. This is a perfect driver's car. If you're looking to get into the exotic market, you want something you can drive a ton, put a lot of mileage on, enjoy and trust. The flat six, that engine that is in this, that's mounted in the back, it's absolutely fantastic. It actually has a frunk and a proper trunk, tons and tons of storage space, super lightweight, super fun to drive, very, very hard to argue with. Moving to the back corner here, we have another R8. The one over here is a Gen 2 car. This is a Gen 1 car, but it's a very damn nice Gen 1 car. The early Gen R8s had what they call an R-tronic transmission, which is a single clutch automated gearbox. This, being a 2014, has the R-tronic, which is a dual clutch and a fantastic, fantastic transmission. This specific car is very cool spec. It's got a brown interior on the black exterior. It's got only 36,000 kilometers on it, priced at just under $97,000. It is a V8 car, but in these, the V8 is absolutely fantastic, even compared to the V10. The V10s do sound a little bit better and make a little bit more power, but the differentiation is very, very minor, especially you get an exhaust on one of these, this V8 absolutely screams, and they do still make very, very good power for an NA V8. versus the V10 option. Moving forward, same chassis car, a little bit older. We have got a pre-LP 2008 Gallardo Spyder. This is a 5-liter car, so this is still when these were produced truly as an Italian car, and they sound so good. This is far and above the best sounding car we have in here right now. Helps that this car has a full aftermarket exhaust setup, but this thing sounds absolutely fantastic. It's got around 55,000 kilometers on it. It's priced at 130 Canadian, which is crazy because these cars go for very, very big money in the States, especially being that it's black exterior over the white interior, the diamond stitch. It's got a lot of cool options, and this thing is a ton of fun to drive and one of my favorite personal cars in here. Moving up top, this is so cool. It's a 2023 M8 competition Gran Coupe. And to be honest, this is kind of my pick for an all-around car. This thing is able to go all-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive at the push of a button because the transfer case in these is able to disconnect at the front. So you can have it as all-wheel drive, super comfortable, super confident, or if you want, turn it into a rear-wheel drive Savage, hit a button, go have some fun. These cars are super configurable. You can change almost anything and everything about them. And it means they're very versatile. Back seats are super comfortable and very large for what they are. This car is in a very unique spec with the Isle of Man green paint over the kind of peanut butter brown interior. It's got a full PPF. It's satin, or it's XPEL Stealth they call it, but it looks super cool. This car's only got 7,000 kilometers on the clock, and it's priced very aggressively compared to anything else available in the country at just under 140 grand. Moving onwards, this is our 2016 Nissan GTR. This is the other GTR that we currently have in-house. We have some space for some of our other inventory elsewhere, but this is the other GTR we've currently got in-house. This thing is a very cool spec premium pack, but white over the red interior. And this car has a lot of similar modifications to the gray car that we talked about earlier, just nowhere near as much visually. It's a lot more stock appearing from the outside. Of course, it's still got a couple goodies, including the very expensive Vossen wheels that are on it, along with it's got the burnt titanium tips on the Armatrix exhaust. Outside of that though, it's fairly stock looking. It does still have tuning, intakes, some exhaust work, and a couple other things though. It's got around 70,000 kilometers on it, and it's priced at just under 110 Canadian, which is a fantastic deal for what you're getting. Obviously, these and the R8s are kind of the perfect starting point if you're looking to get into your first supercar, and they do hold their value very well. Moving onward, we have got a fantastic little daily driver of a Mercedes here. This thing is priced at just under 38 grand, I believe, and it's got around 55,000 kilometers on the clock. It does have the turbo 4-cylinder, which still has plenty of oomph, but it's very efficient. This thing is super comfortable. It's all-wheel drive. This is the perfect car if you're looking for something you just spend a ton of time in on the highway. This is kind of the perfect car for that. Obviously, it does have the newer star-style grille, which looks great, and a brown interior, which gives it a little bit more character and a little bit more fun. This is a great car if you're just putting on a ton of mileage. Moving on into some of my favorite stuff. Obviously, we looked at one McLaren over here, and we've got 3 more McLarens to look at right here. Number 1 being another 2016 570S. This car is in a super special spec, being that it's got the orange with the metallic flake. You get this car out in the sun, and the gold flake in this paint just freaking pops. It's absolutely gorgeous. And of course, black Alcantara and a bit of orange on the inside, orange seat belts, some orange on the dash. This is a pretty perfectly spec'd car, in my opinion, for a McLaren. You know, your Ferraris are supposed to be red, your Lambos are supposed to be yellow, your McLarens are supposed to be orange. And I really like this. Got carbon ceramics, 55,000 kilometers on it. It's priced at 168 grand-ish, which is a fantastic entry point into something that is a full carbon tub, beautiful, doors go up, angry, twin turbo V8, ridiculously fast car. Moving forward, we got one step further of evolution in the 2018 720S. It is quite cool. The way McLaren differentiates their cars, it's more based on the aero and the handling profile than the engine. These two cars have a very similar footprint, and they're very similar in what they are. They're both carbon tub, both doors go up, and they have a very similar twin turbo V8 in them, but this has your air brake and some active aero. It is a much faster car from factory. You have the dihedral doors that have a hinge up top and a hinge down here that open up sideways, and this thing again is in a beautiful spec. tons and tons of carbon. It's priced at around 290 Canadian, got around 15,000 kilometers on the clock, and this is far and above my favorite car in here in so many ways. The last McLaren we've got to show you guys, this is a kind of a unique one, but I really like it. It's a 2017 540C, and the 540C is the base trim for anything available from McLarens of the time. And the main differentiation between this and the 570, it is on the same chassis. This just has not really much for carbon options from factory, and in factory configuration, it makes approximately 30 horsepower less than 570S. In this specific case, that all kind of goes out the window. This car's been modified. It's got downpipes and some tuning and a couple of goodies that actually make it the fastest car in this room right now. It's a super cool spec, a very unique spec. I actually know the gentleman who sold it new from FAF in Vancouver, and no, he hasn't seen another one like it. They didn't get in another one like it. I was told that this is very unique, and it's cool. I really like it. The peanut butter inside with the dark blue exterior. Very classy. This car actually has a lot of options, even though it's a 540. It's got the upgraded stereo system along with a lot of the premium package things that don't really come as standard in these cars. Even down to like, it's got the upgraded carbon paddles, which is something that's very rare. And funny enough, none of the other three McLarens we have in here have. And this car is also priced very similarly to the silver car, about $180,000, but it only has 22,000 kilometers on it, and a lot of upgrades that make it very fast. The last car in the showroom that you guys have probably seen in the background already, and we haven't actually highlighted just yet, is our 2007 Ferrari F430 Berlinetta. This thing is very typical Ferrari. This is about as Ferrari as it gets, you might say. It is Rosso Corsa red over tan interior, which is beautiful Ferrari spec. Of course, got the naturally aspirated V8 in the rear that absolutely sings. This car still has the factory exhaust, but it sounds absolutely phenomenal. This thing is super comfortable cockpit, tons of fun. Obviously, this thing was kind of the competitor to the Gallardo when it came out. Single clutch, naturally aspirated, tons of fun. And this car, it's timeless. You know, you look at these things, they really don't show their age. They've aged very well. And this thing has around 34,000 kilometers on it, which is very low for an 07. And it's priced at about $180,000. Thank you guys so much for coming for a little bit of a tour. We're gonna be posting a lot more here on the Adrenalin Exotics YouTube channel, sharing some of the cool things that we have in store on all fronts. And I'm excited to keep getting some videos out to you guys once a week. Stay tuned. There's a lot of cool stuff to come. We'll see you guys next time.